Today we're going to make a wreath using just Dollar Tree supplies. I began by taking the tag off, and then I pried the bunny's ear and his tail off. And then I went after that and I started just giving it a quick coat of white paint. I use Fusion Picket Fence, but any kind of white craft paint would work for this. Give it a real 2 good coats, making sure to do the sides. I gave the little bunny 2 coats on the front and 1 coat on the back, making sure that it dried well in between all the coats. So I have another little bunny all painted up white. He's very plain. Both sides. Look on this side, it's damaged. I'm taking him off. So originally he was this way, so I'm going to work on him this way. And the Dollar Tree here, there's only one in our area that carries this, but bless their hearts, it's so much nicer than the other Dollar Trees. And they have brought in, they're the only one I've seen that have these rub-on transfers. I'm going to use them on some eggs, but I could have used them on our bunny. They would have been cute. And then they had these, which I also really like. You know, me and green leaves. And if I was going to be using this for something else, I would have put this on there. These are just stickers. And then this one here is I like these little white leaves in the corner. So anyway, those are for future projects. And I had these ones. I had 2 of them, I think, for $1.50. And then I have these peonies. Now, I could probably use an entire peony on this, but I'm not sure it would show up as a flower. So I'm going to go and use this partial one here. I'll start by just cutting the actual flower comes like peels right off. So I'm going to trace what I want on the rabbit, and then I'll just put the sticker on the bunny. I still have the one tail I could stick back on here, as well as my metal ear. So if we look at that, that's what's going to be on the bunny. And I think I'll go ahead and cut that. I don't know. I'm going to cut this along the edge here. Right along, just so that it's on the inside edge of what I cut here. Now, I might get a little bit of white around the edge of the bunny, but I'm okay with that plan. Now, if you look, the edge here is over too much. I'm gonna keep those leaves, they're cute. So, put our bunny on here. I think that looks okay. So I think that looks really good now. We could Mod Podge it, but this is just a little Dollar Tree rabbit that I'm going to put on my annual Spring Wreath. So I'm skipping that part. The choice is yours if you want to do that. The next thing we're going to do is paint us some cute little pink tails and ears. I'm going to do, remember it had the bunny ear and the tail to begin with. So I'm going to start, I want to make it as soft a pink as possible. I probably have some softer pink in the basement, but I know that it probably wouldn't be soft enough for me anyway, for what I want. So I'm going to mix some of my own here. So I'm going to take much. Should be wearing gloves, but I'm not. So I'm going to give this a couple of coats of this really light, soft pink. And I think it does a pretty good job of matching the pink in a bunny right there. So strange, the dark edge of this is quite a bit darker than the top. So then I'll just paint the top. I think I'll end up giving this 2 or 3 coats because I want it to be 100% covered before I put it on the bunny. I'll glue it on with E6000, I think. But anyway, there we are. We've got it painted. Now I'm going to let these dry and I'll do a couple more coats before I come back. So I finished the rabbit and I got these all painted, and I was thinking about putting this, I cut out another piece of the sticker from the flower to put it on the bunny, on his tail, and you can certainly do that. But I kind of liked it pink. So what I'm going to do, just to tone that pink down a little bit more, is I'm going to give it a really quick dry brush with white. Just want it really light, especially around the edges. I think I'll give it a little bit more right around the edge like that. The edge. Kind of similar to scruffing it up, I guess, except, well, I don't have to worry about sanding it. So I'll put that on with some E6000 glue, but let me go ahead first and dry brush my bunny ears the same way. I'm just going to do it around the edge. Hi, I'm videoing. Yeah. I like that. I think that's just enough white and knife pink to add to our bunny. Okay, so now I'll put it right here and right there. I'm gonna let it go. So there's our bunny and our wreath form, and that is some Dollarama cord. It comes on the cardboard, and you want to get that type. Okay, now you start by putting the cord inside the frame, and then we're going to wrap around the inner 3 rings only, leaving the outside ring empty. Now you just continue wrapping and wrapping. I made a mistake here, and a lot of my video is out of the screen, which is annoying, but there's enough here to show you. You just keep wrapping it through, and it works better sitting on your lap and holding it up in the air so you got room for the cardboard and the string to go through. Here I'm going to show you how to do the end. When you get to the end of the first cord, you just take it and stick it in, and then use your finger, a crochet hook, a ruler, whatever you want, and push the end of your cord down into the loops, and that'll hold it into place. Now to start the next piece, we're going to do the same thing. You wrap the beginning of your cord through your frame, and then you take the remainder of the cord with the cardboard and you pull it through and hide the inner cord. The first 5 or 6 wraps are a pain, a little bit of a struggle to keep everything neat and tidy and tight, but after you get that done, it goes really quick. That's the cardboard wrapped rope makes it so much easier than trying to pull the cord through without the cardboard. If you've ever worked with macrame, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we'll just keep wrapping it and wrapping it until we get to the very end. Now I had just enough cord to finish because I had used some of my 2 bundles. You should have enough with 2. Okay, and you wrap it around right to the end, and then you just stick it in again. Okay, and then you tweak it. You're just going to arrange it all, and that's the middle of our wreath done. Okay, so now we have our wreath filled. Now I want to take some of these Dollar Tree flowers. I know you've seen them. A lot of people are crafting with them, and I think it's because they're so pretty. So I cut a few of them off. I'll just cut a few more here to get us started. And I'm just cutting them long, way down in here. Get rid of that label. Okay, and the other thing we need is we're going to need some florist wire so that we're not working with a huge chunk of it. I'm going to start with little pieces. Okay, and as I need it, I will add in more. So what I want to do is I want to start by just layering our blossoms. Like this. Okay. I'll take a little piece of this wire here. And I'll feed it around as well. And I'll just continue around. Now you can use as many of these, or as few of them as you like, and make them as thick around the outside or as thin.
Because this video is so repetitive and we're just, lining beautiful flowers up around the edge of the wreath and tightening them in with wire, I removed an awful lot of it. But there was a few sections here that I wanted to take some time and just show you. I was not quick building this. When I went through, like you can see here, I'm wiring it very carefully. Okay, I'm tying that stem in, making sure that it's tucked in. I'm also making sure not to bury my leaves or tangle them up in the wire as well, because you don't want them looking unnatural. The other thing is this, see I'm pulling it out there? The other thing with these leaves is the actual leaf itself, like little groupings, will slide up and down the stem, which made it very handy for arranging them. Okay, so even though I did cut a lot of this video out, I was very particular as I went around the entire circumference. And it's a really good idea that you be really particular as you go around it as well. And that keeps it nice and neat around the circumference and your blossoms aren't all sticking out. Because these flowers, you're going to see here, we're just coming to the end. Because the flowers are, I don't know, a couple inches long, they're really easy to just fit in at the end so that the first blossom overlaps the last blossom. And if you have a little bit of a gap in there, just kind of make a mental note of it. And when we get to the next part, we're going to cover that with the bunny and the final ribbon and all that other pretty stuff. So once you get it all finished on this side, I tucked in the wire. The very last thing we want to do is flip it over. It looks nice. I like it. We're going to flip it over here. And we're just going to take and look at the back of the wreath. And we're going to see where I have that little branch sticking out there? I just went all around it and I made sure to put it in. I actually only had one branch, but it's still a part you should do, especially if you're going to be putting on something that might get scratched. You want to make sure all them stems are in there. Okay, and with that, our beautiful little wreath is done. Now on to the bunny. Because of distance, I have to use what I have on hand. Unfortunately, I had this beautiful green ribbon, but it wasn't as wide as I'd like. And I had some of these lovely Dollar Tree pussy willows and these lovely magnolia blossoms. Oh, look for them. They came, I think it was the Dollar Tree, and they're just beautiful. I got a few of them actually, and I took one of those and I'm going to wire them all together. Start by trimming off the extra length of your pussy willows, and I took out the middle branch. Okay, put it off to the side. They're quite tough. You'll see me cutting them here. I tweaked the branches a little bit so they wouldn't be quite so perfect, wired them together quickly, and then added the magnolia blossom to the top using the same wire to wrap it all together in a bundle. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach it to the wreath. So I took another piece of wire and then I wired all the blossoms, the pussy willows and the flowers to the wreath. But don't do it too tightly because you're going to want to, later on we'll be hiding the wire with a piece of ribbon. So you don't want to make it too tight. You can always tighten it more at the end. So I'm going to show you that. And then at the top there, I did the same thing with the pussy willow right at the very top. I wired it to the wreath as well. So here I'm just taking a little piece of wire and I'm wiring it down in between two of the wraps of the fabric, or of the cord I mean. And then I'm attaching the top, wrapping it around to the top of the pussy willows. And then I will go ahead and just switch it, turn it so that the twist part goes to the back of the wreath. Now our flowers are all on. I'll just trim off the wire, make it pretty, and we'll be on to the ribbon. So now we're going to take a ribbon, and this is why I wanted the wire kept fairly loose. We're going to take a ribbon and just wrap it around the bottom of the stems there in order to hide the wire. Once we got that all wrapped and glued in so it's tight, I put a little dab of glue on every round, and that way now we don't have to worry about that wire anymore. We're all done with it, at least on the bottom. And so now I use the cardboard backing that originally held our white rope, and I wrapped the thin green ribbon around it in order to make a bow. Now if I'd have had wider ribbon, I would have only had to do this once. Unfortunately, with the thin ribbon, you see me fiddling with it here hoping it would look okay with just one. It didn't. So I did this twice, and I put another one exactly like that one on top. You can see it there. And now I took two lengths of ribbon about 10 inches long, and I'm fiddling with them to make sure that they both have the polka dot side showing. So now we're on the final touches of our pretty little spring wreath here. Because I have the branches, now I can glue other things to them without harming the background wreath. So I decided that to make it a little bit extra special, I just put a couple more of those beautiful flowers in along the top, and I glued them in with the hot glue gun. And with that, we're done. The next part of it, you will see me, I will hang it out on my front door, and I will put those pictures at the end of the video.